Welcome to the stream, everyone. My name's Brian Craig. If you're new here, this is where MAGA comes to talk. And man, do we have a lot to cover on the program today. Welcome. And also, if you're new, anytime I live stream, I take calls live on the show. All right. And the number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Make sure you subscribe and like the video. Now, this is new just this morning, which is absolutely amazing. After this Tucker Carlson interview, Alex Jones is going to be reinstated to Twitter or X. Oh, boy. I tell you, I'm still calling it Twitter, guys. You guys can call it whatever you'd like, but I'm calling it Twitter still. But Alex Jones is going to be reinstated to the Twitter. Now, you know, this may be the beginning of something, because if you remember, President Trump was banned from everything. He got back on one, and then boom, he was everywhere. So that's some good news to start the day off. Alex Jones back on Twitter. But let's start with the main topic, which is the man-hating Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly's got an issue with strong men. Let's face it. I mean, look at what she did at Fox News with Roger Ailes and everything. And really, indirectly, Megyn Kelly's responsible for Bill O'Reilly being forced out of Fox News over that stupid accusation that was made against Bill O'Reilly. And her husband is a very effeminate kind of husband, all right? I know they've been married for a long time. He's a writer. He's a best-selling author. But would he be a best-selling author if he was not Mr. Megyn Kelly? I don't know. But she's got issues with strong, dominant men. And she hosted this News Nation debate, which is an interesting thing, right? This Republican debate she was really the main moderator of. I know there were two other ladies there, Elizabeth Vargas and someone I never heard of. But all eyes were on Megyn Kelly. And Megyn Kelly, who's been spending all this time telling us television and cable is dead. It's all about the new media. She gets a chance to be on the cable news, and all of a sudden that's where it's at. It's back in the cable because I'm on it, So, a little bit of a change in her tone on that. But with her return to cable news, there's a resurgence of her arrogance and her Trump derangement and her man-hating and her Trump-hating. And I'll play the clip. She was on with Glenn Beck, who I don't trust Glenn Beck. He was a never-Trumper in the 2016 race, and I always say, never trust a never-Trumper. Never trust a never-Trumper, because a never-Trumper, they may pretend to be, they may be, I was red-pilled, now I'm on the Trump train. And then time goes on, like with Candace Owens, and then all of a sudden they show the true colors. So I never trust a never-Trumper, and Glenn Beck is a never-Trumper. So Megyn Kelly declares that Trump has lost multiple steps mentally. She says this is what happens when you're 77 years old. Now, I've watched pretty much every speech President Trump has given. I couldn't keep up with him. Last weekend, he had those two speeches in Iowa. One was a smaller, intimate local gathering. Then he did basically a rally-style thing. And what a lot of people don't know, because it didn't get much publicity like everything else Trump does, they have these. By the way, this is a Mark Dice shirt I'm wearing, if you're wondering. It says, "Wanted for President Donald Trump." Got this from Mark Dice. What a lot of people don't know about that is he actually did 3 speeches that day. He did those 2 incredible speeches in Iowa. Then he got on a plane, Trump Force One, of course, flew back to Florida, and did another speech in Jupiter, Florida. Jupiter, Florida is the northern tip of Palm Beach County, the county that Mar-a-Lago is located in. He did 3 speeches that day, and I got to tell you, and I imagine some of you guys had this experience too. I was tired just watching the 2 speeches in Iowa. Weren't you? Yeah. And he's doing it. And not only is he doing it, he's got all this stuff going on before and after where he has to meet with all the important people in these areas and all this stuff. So this idea that he's slowed down, I don't see it. Do you guys see it? I don't see it. And there's this new... Megyn Kelly, if you go to Megyn, I'll play the audio in a bit, but if you go to Megyn Kelly's YouTube channel, And I do watch her. She does do good interviews, on, and I do watch her from time to time. But Megyn Kelly, what she's done since she left cable news, she's on Sirius satellite radio, but her show's all over YouTube. And what she does is she trolls. She trolls on popular topics and popular people. And, when everyone was talking about Prince Harry and Meghan, she was doing endless shows on that. And you'll see if you follow her on YouTube, she's always grabbing on to trends outside of what you would normally think that she would do. And it's a way for the YouTube and online algorithms to grab that show that she does and recommend it to people that don't normally watch her, and it grows her channel, okay? So she's very big. Candace Owens does this too. She's very big into getting into whatever the big trends are online to reach new people. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that's what she does. It's trolling. And there's a trend going on right now that millennials think that if you're older than them, you should just die and not have any say in anything. So there's this trend going on of this ageism trend. And her saying this fits two things from her personality defects. One is her man-hating thing, right? Which I'll combine with her anger at Trump, which she's never gotten over that. But also, it's a trend that she's on, this ageism trend. So, what's going on? She does this, and even me, we're all talking about her. So everyone's talking about Megyn Kelly. And so that strategy that she uses about grabbing onto these trends gets everyone talking about her. In fact, I was not going to make this. I had another idea that the thumbnail was going to be on the program. Now, I knew she said this, but I was going to do my thumbnail and title on my YouTube video on something else that I'm going to talk about in a little bit, which when I get to it, I'll tell you. And then I saw that this Megyn Kelly thing is all over the place, and I changed what my thumbnail was going to be on my YouTube video and the title of the YouTube video because this is blowing up, and I want to set the record straight on it. So what she's doing is it's a smart strategy for her to grow her presence, but this is nonsense. Donald Trump has not lost any steps. I can't even keep up with him, and I'm just watching it. But she's on this trend. So let's go through it. Conservative commentator. I don't know. Is she conservative? What do you think? Is Megyn Kelly... By the way, if you'd like to call in, the number toll-free 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. Is she conservative, or is she just kind of like an opportunist? Right? It's kind of hip to be a conservative right now in some ways. So is she really a conservative? I don't know about that. This is in Mediaite that I'm reading. And then I got an article in the Daily Mail I'll go through to see if we pick anything else up. Conservative commentator Megyn Kelly declared that President Donald Trump has lost multiple steps mentally during a recent appearance on Glenn Beck's show, rejecting his excuses for recent misstatements. Do you think that Donald Trump has faded from where he was in 2020, asked Beck? Megyn Kelly responds, yeah, I do. I'll play the clip right here. I got it. So let's just play it. Boy, I tell you, Glenn Beck, he's all into the fancy mics, right? That's a fancy mic, all white. Remember he used to have a mic that he said was Tokyo Rose's microphone he used to talk into? He's a weird dude, Glenn Beck. He's just weird. I'm glad, though, that Glenn Beck has given up that Colonel Sanders look he had with the white beard and everything. That was getting stupid.
Do you think that Donald Trump has faded from where he was in 2020?
Yeah, I do.
Huh.
I mean, I take him over Joe Biden any day of the week.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to, fill out this term, never mind a second. But there's no question Trump has lost a step, or multiple steps. He is confusing Joe Biden for Obama. I know he's now saying he intentionally did that. Go back and look at the clips. It wasn't intentional. It was look, any of us could have a slip of the tongue, but it's happening to him repeatedly. The reference about how somebody's going to get us into World War II, confusing countries, confusing cities where he is. It's happening more and more. With all due respect to Trump, this is what happens when you're 77 years old.
Yeah.
Trump seems inhuman, but he's not inhuman. He's a human. He's a man. DeSantis' line about father time spares no one. was a good one. So, look, if it's between Trump and Biden, I don't think there's any question who's more fit and who's capable. But are we really going to pretend that Donald Trump is just as vibrant and mentally sharp as he was in 2016?
Okay. First off, this is just complete nonsense. And I'll tell you, another thing that you have to take in consideration with Megyn Kelly, she's all in with the DeSantises, all right? Ron and Walmart Melania, all right? And she did an interview a few months ago with Ron DeSantis, and I was shocked. I thought it was very inappropriate. She said during the interview that the night before the interview, she had dinner with her husband, the writer, that they had dinner together, that Megyn Kelly and her husband had dinner the night before with Ron DeSantis and Walmart Melania, which is inappropriate before an interview, in my opinion. When I interview people, I don't talk to them in advance. I don't like to talk to people. And even during, if I'm interviewing someone and it goes beyond a segment and we go to commercial, I don't even talk to them during the commercial. It messes up the interview. So she's a DeSantis person. She's friends with him. She goes out to dinner with him. She had a vested interest in him. So there's that factor too. And it's not a coincidence that Ron DeSantis is using this ageism thing as well, which I find disgusting. Now, another thing about it, now I'm not to say that when people get tired, excuse me, I got to clear my throat, guys. Sorry. My coffee went down the wrong way. Yesterday I was telling my wife, Kathy, excuse me. Yesterday, I had to get up really, really early in the morning for something, hours early. Yesterday morning, I got up about 1:30 in the morning for something. And I had to do a bunch of stuff before I went on the air at 6. I did all my show prep like I normally would, but I was a little tired. And I was not as sharp as I normally would. This was yesterday morning show, and I was not as sharp and as awake as I normally am because I had a lot of things going on before that. So it's not to say that when you're running a hard campaign like President Trump that maybe he's doing a lot and he's tired one particular day. I mean, I was having a hard time remembering some names and words on the program yesterday morning. I was trying to remember Zillow. For the life of me, I couldn't remember the name Zillow. And then one of our sponsors, Dr. Matez, texted me, Zillow, and there was a couple other things too, because I was tired. Doesn't mean I have cognitive decline. It means I had a lot going on, and I didn't get a lot of sleep the night before. And, so President Trump has more going on than just a campaign. He's got all these ridiculous court cases too. And even though he may not be in court all the time, there's a lot of meetings that go on with his attorneys. A lot. See, this is one of the reasons that these uniparty snakes have all these cases to try to wear him down. And plus, he does have a business. He's not retired. The Trump Organization, he's still the head of the Trump Organization. He's not just a figurehead. So he's got a lot going on. So maybe he was tired once or twice and messed up a word or something. But I don't see any cognitive decline whatsoever at all. Do you? And I think her reasoning for this is her love of DeSantis, her friendship with DeSantis, and her dislike. Now, this is in the Daily Mail. Let's see what their version is, if they add anything to it. Megyn Kelly on Thursday said 77-year-old Donald Trump is noticeably less sharp than he was in 2016, but said she still felt he was more fit and capable than Biden. Well, what does that mean? Everyone's more capable than, the mighty MAGA line is more mentally capable than Biden. By the way, have you bought yours yet? Oh, man. I sent out yesterday a huge number of mighty MAGA Lions yesterday at the post office. And I mean, man, so all of you that have ordered your mighty MAGA Lions, thanks so much. And if you've not received it yet, it's on the way. If you've not ordered, order. Go to mightymagalion.com. There's a link in the video description. It makes a great, great Christmas gift. I'm here to tell you, if you order more than one, you get a discount. So go to mightymagalion.com. In fact, I got a message on YouTube. Let's see if I can find it here. From someone who just received. If I can't find it now, I will find it later. But somebody had sent me a message, left a comment on YouTube I saw this morning about their mighty MAGA line. Hold on, then we'll get back to Megyn Kelly. Let's see here. Yeah, this is on, this comment was left on the video of yesterday's show. Alex Jones talks with Tucker on yesterday's show. And Marcia, she said, we received our Mighty MAGA Lions today. They are so detailed. The teeth, the mane, the hat. It's perfect, and I'm thrilled. Can't wait for the next rally. It'll be our Mighty MAGA Lions first. So they're taking the Mighty MAGA Lion to the rally. We'll have so much fun. What an honor. Thank you. Brian, Kathy, and Dee. Dee, of course. Kathy and I partnered up with Dee, who's one of the moderators and one of our Patreon supporters on the Mighty MAGA Line. So thanks so much. Yeah, so go to MightyMAGALine.com and order yours, okay? And it is Saturday if you're watching live. If you order during the stream today, your Mighty MAGA Line will go out today. I'll take it to the post office myself today if you order during the live stream, MightyMAGALine.com. All right, so let's go through the Daily Mail's version of that disgusting comment of Megyn Kelly's and see what they have to say. Maybe they got some new intel here. Megyn Kelly on Thursday said 77-year-old Donald Trump is noticeably less sharp than he was in 2016, but said she still said he was more fit and more capable than Biden. Kelly, who on Wednesday night co-hosted the Republican primary debate, appeared on fellow conservative Glenn Beck's podcast to discuss the race. She said Trump has lost multiple steps mentally, which we did. I played that already. Okay, let's see if we got something new. Biden 81 is see, it's not Biden's age. It's the cognitive decline. You could be 181 if you're with it. It's okay. It's not the age. Okay, Biden 81 is struggling to convince the electorate that his age was not a problem. He has repeatedly said he should be judged on his accomplishments. But polls show this is Biden's advanced years, are troubling voters. It's not his age. It's that he's checked out. He's got Alzheimer's or some other pretty bad cognitive issue. Megyn Kelly said Trump, too, was showing his age. Whatever. Give me a break. And that's it. That's all they got. They don't have much new for us there. What a bunch of jerks they are. I mean, oh, boy, I tell you. She's always going to be anti-Trump, I mean, Megyn Kelly is always going to work and fight hard against Donald Trump. That's just her whole identity. She doesn't like men, not strong men. She's this new era of women that like men that are like women. I mean, let me ask you. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. In Megyn Kelly's marriage, who do you think the man is? And it's not just because of the money she makes. She makes more money than her husband. She's the man. Yeah. She's the man. And that's how she likes it. She doesn't like strong men. And Donald Trump is a strong man. And that's my thoughts. You guys can let me know what you think about that, but that's what I think. Now, this next story is what I was going to originally make the thumbnail and title about. But since this thing with Megyn Kelly has gotten so big, I made that the main topic and the thumbnail. Because I want to set the record straight about her and her issues. But Vivek Ramaswamy, and, before I reveal this story and we talk about it, I have told you guys from almost the beginning, when I first started learning about this guy, I do not trust Ramaswamy, the Soros connection, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, this is another move that Soros is making to infiltrate our MAGA movement. Okay? And like he did with the state's attorneys, like he's done with the Democrat Party. Now he's turning his focus on MAGA through Vivek Ramaswamy. Well, look at this. Vivek Ramaswamy, Libertarian candidate. In Iowa, his campaign flirts with a third-party run. Oh, yeah. Republican candidate Vivek Ramaswamy's campaign has reached out to the Libertarian Party in Iowa to inquire about running for president on the Libertarian Party's ticket. This is Ross Perot 2.0. Bill Clinton in 1992 did not beat George H.W. Bush. Ross Perot came in and sucked away a lot of conservative votes from George H.W. Bush, and Bill Clinton won it. In fact, Bill Clinton won only 40-some% of the vote in that election. It was very low, the lowest since Abraham Lincoln, if I remember correctly at the time. And we'll go through this, and then I'll talk more about it. Campaign operatives for Ramaswamy attended a local Libertarian Party event this week. Ramaswamy has had conversations with 2 Iowa Libertarian officials, including one instance where he expressed interest in joining the Libertarian ticket. One of those officials confirmed. Ramaswamy, an entrepreneur and author who in 2004 voted for a Libertarian presidential campaign, has openly criticized Republican leadership. He struggled to gain traction in Iowa. Asked Thursday if he would run under the Libertarian ticket should he be defeated in the Republican race, Ramaswamy told the Register no, but he held out the possibility the Libertarian Party might nominate him. Oh, well, would he accept the nomination? I expect to get the GOP nomination, Ramaswamy said. I have strong libertarian instincts. I can't stop them from nominating me, and I would be proud if they did. So he said it's okay to nominate him. He'd be proud of it. And he didn't do the Lyndon Johnson that he would not accept. He didn't say he wouldn't accept it. So this is bad news, guys. This is bad news. There are a lot of good conservatives. Benny Johnson, it's been reported. I think I haven't heard him say this, but I've had many people tell me they've heard him say this, that he's been prepping, Benny Johnson's been prepping Ramaswamy for the debates. And there's a lot, I've been telling you guys for months that a lot of these millennial conservatives that are on YouTube and other platforms, Rumble and everything else, are out there just in love with Ramaswamy. Millennials, they love each other. They love other millennials. And they got this thing because he's the first millennial to run for president. Whoop-de-freaking-do. I know millennial's a cool word and all, but it doesn't mean you've done anything cool. But what impact would this have? And I believe this story. I mean, we've got multiple confirmations, and then Ramaswamy's reactions are disturbing. What impact would this have on Trump? Now, it's not going to impact me or most of you, but I'm here to tell you, millennials and these Gen Zers, we could lose a lot of them to Ramaswamy on a Libertarian ticket. I'm here to tell you. Now, the question is, what's going to happen to some of these people that are going to crash and burn? Like, if Vivek Ramaswamy goes to the Libertarian ticket, what will Benny Johnson do? Will Benny Johnson stick with Trump, or will he go to Ramaswamy, or will he play both sides of the fence? I'll tell you another one is Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin, who's got a thing for Ron DeSantis. What's Dave Rubin going to do when DeSantis finally is out of the race? Is he going to go back to Trump? I don't think so. And, you know, Dave Rubin used to be with the Young Turks. I don't trust that guy as far as I could throw him. All right. But there's a lot of these very high profile millennial conservative influencers who are either with DeSantis or Ramaswamy. But Ramaswamy, I'm telling you, when I saw Ramaswamy come out on stage at Turning Point USA in Palm Beach a few months ago, those young people, a lot of them are high school kids, they went nuts. But by the time the election comes around, a lot of those high school kids, probably at least half of them, if not 3/4 of them, will be old enough to vote. So if this story is true, I mean, Ramaswamy said he didn't say he would turn down the invite. He's met with the Libertarian people in Iowa. We've got 2 sources from the Libertarian Party who confirmed that. One of them confirmed that he seriously talked to them about getting the Libertarian nomination. So what impact if he were to do that? And I think it's possible. Do you guys think it? Let me know what you think. Is it possible that Vivek Ramaswamy would go to the Libertarian Party and do a third-party run? And would those of you who don't accept the Soros connection, would you accept it then? You know, he didn't say, I would not accept the nomination. No, he did not say, do not nominate me. He said, I would be proud. I'd be honored. Wow. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, one thing you don't see too much on television with Ramaswamy is his ego. When I saw him in person speaking to young people, they had to almost get one of those canes and grab him off stage. He loves the crowds. He loves being on stage. He loves these people going nuts over him. He's not just going to walk away from that and be an advisor to Trump. If this is true, and everything about it is true, we even have confirmation from Ramaswamy himself about this story, that would be a pretty brilliant plot by George Soros to do to President Trump, or at least try to do, what they did successfully to President Bush with Ross Perot in 1992. Think about it. Ross Perot, if he was not in that race, we would have forgotten about Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton would have gone on to, I guess, practice law. Maybe he would have gotten in Congress. I don't know. But Bill Clinton would be old in yesterday's news if it wasn't for Ross Perot. Okay? And this is something that we should keep an eye on. It's something we should be very concerned about. And I'll tell you, these conservative Benny Johnson, I like Benny Johnson. I got nothing against Benny Johnson. However, if I know about this story, Benny Johnson knows about this story. And he really, truly needs to wake up to it and deal with the reality of it so that we don't have a problem, which we very well could have, okay? We very well could have. And I'm not saying that his support is strong enough to defeat Trump on the Libertarian ticket. Don't get me wrong. But we can't afford to lose votes. We can't afford to lose votes. And we're doing very well with the youth vote. And Ramaswamy is very, very popular with the youth vote that we very much need, okay? So I'm very concerned about it, and I'm ticked off about it, and I hope that I voted for Ross Perot, by the way, in 1992. That was the first presidential election that I was old enough to vote in, and I voted for Ross Perot. Now, listen to this. This is Biden's America.
Gangs from South America are breaking into multi-million-dollar homes across the country and now in Metro Detroit. And police say they're highly functional and well-trained.
Look at this.
The guy
Illegals.
to the right in the middle, that's a jammer. So he's jamming signals right now.
Those jammers then render the Wi-Fi security systems useless. At least 30 to 40 homes have been hit since September in Detroit, and thieves getting away with cash, jewelry, expensive handbags in minutes.
Wow. And what would happen if someone was home? They'd be dead. They'd kill them. I mean, what's going on in Biden's America is very frightening, people. I mean, we have, this crime right here, the way I always compare it, it's like Minority Report with Tom Cruise. Where they had the Bureau of Pre-Crime. None of these crimes should be happening. They're all preventable because these people should not be here. And it looks like in Detroit, President Trump in his first term, they did a lot of deportations with the gangs, right? MS-13 and all of that. And it looks like they're back because Biden's letting them back. So anytime you see a crime victim, someone killed, someone raped, someone's home invaded like that, these are all things that wouldn't have happened if Trump were in his second term right now. These are all crimes that are happening as a direct result of Biden and his policies. And Biden and his team of crooks around him are aware of all these things. They just don't care. They just don't care. And we're in some... This year that we're facing right now is going to be a very tough year. And it's going to be a tough year because with Trump doing so well in the polls, these evil Marxist forces of the Democrat Party that are running the country right now, they feel, for good reason, because of the polls, they only have a limited time to do whatever they can do, to do as much. So in the next year, these Democrats are going to do as much damage as they can to this country as possible because they're on a time crunch. They got a year. So we're going to see more people coming over illegally. We're going to see more things like this. And it's going to get worse and worse as time goes on. Hold on a second. I got to answer a message here. Hold on. Okay, I will answer it in a minute. I know I get a lot of messages during the show. Now, here's another story that I want to share with you all. And I'm not sure if you've seen this story. A New Jersey man who screamed racial slurs at his black neighbors is jailed for 8 years after shocking video of his abusive rant went viral. He sobbed as he apologized for terrorizing his victims. A white New Jersey man sobbed in court yesterday, after he was sentenced to 8 years in prison for racially abusing his black neighbors. Edward Matthews, age 47, went viral in 2021 when he was seen hurling racial abuse at a black neighbor and spitting on them. It later emerged that Matthews had for years terrorized black people living in the Essex Palace condominium, 17 miles east of Philadelphia, and they've got all kinds of things here. This is awful stuff. Victims talked about how Matthew fired BB pellets at their cars, called them terrible names, put feces on their property, and sent them threatening emails and letters. On Friday, shackled and handcuffed, wearing an orange prison jumpsuit, he apologized for his insensitive and disrespectful words, etc., etc. This guy's an animal. This guy's a monster. He's going to prison for 8 years. What's different between what he's doing and what these anti-Semitic pro-Hamas protesters are doing to Jews on college campuses and around this country, right? I mean, those college leaders the other day were talking about how as long as, they can be anti-Semitic and they can call for genocide, et cetera, as long as they don't actually do it. Once they start committing genocide, then they violated the academic policy of the university, of the school. And I know they're getting a lot of blowback and people are talking about it. But what Jews are dealing with in this country today from these anti-Semitic pro-Hamas protesters, not just on college campuses, it's happening off college campuses as well. Remember that teacher a couple weeks ago who was chased down by a lynch mob of students at the high school in Queens. And there was a Jewish man was killed by a Palestinian in California. There was a lady rabbi killed also, I believe, in California, week 2 back. But what Jews are going through is exactly what this neighborhood went through. Now, it hasn't been as long because it's only been about 8 weeks, not 8 years. But if this guy's going to prison for 8 years, why aren't these people going to prison for what they're doing? Why aren't they being arrested for what they're doing? Why is what they're doing okay? And I'll tell you why it's viewed as okay from the left. It's because liberals, Democrats, hate Jews. They're anti-Semites. So they don't see anything wrong with what these people are saying to the Jews because they think they're right. Yeah? And there's no difference whatsoever between that ugliness, and I don't think there's anyone who would say anything other than what that guy is doing is ugly, right? I mean, it's just ugly what he did. But what are these kids going through? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I mean, I couldn't imagine, if you got a kid, and it's not just Jewish students who are dealing with this at the college campuses, being yelled all these genocidal, ridiculous comments while they're walking around campus or going to class. It's students that are perceived as being Jews. And pretty much that's anyone who's white is perceived as being a Jew on these college campuses by these lunatics. And what do we have? We have the liberals defending them like they always do. Now, hold on, guys. Let me pull this up without playing the audio because I don't want to show the video of this. It's not necessary. Now, we've got a lot of problems here with third-party people, and libertarians have caused Republicans problems over the years. But we've got the Ramaswamy libertarian ticket thing that I was just talking about a minute ago. And then we've got Robert Kennedy, who's running an independent run. And he said, I'm not going to play the interview because it's kind of long-winded. But Robert Kennedy, in the interview, he said, my intention is to spoil the race for both Biden and Trump. And there are, he was talking to Chris Cuomo on News Nation. That's why, I mean, between Robert Kennedy's voice and Fredo, I don't want to play the audio, so I'm not going to play the audio of it. But, yeah, there's a lot of libertarians out there that are behind Kennedy. Now, my wife in the chat room took the words right out of my mouth. And this is something that you, I think, will have heard here first. When the Libertarian Party nominates someone for president, they also nominate someone for vice president. What is the possibility of a Ramaswamy, Robert Kennedy Jr. Libertarian Party ticket? What's the possibility of that? I think it's a strong. Now, we already know that Ramaswamy has had meetings and talked to the Libertarians about nominating him. But they need a vice president too. And Robert Kennedy doesn't have a lot of support. He's out there on his own. He's not getting a lot of publicity. He's not getting a lot of TV. But a Kennedy Ramaswamy ticket would. Now, the only conflict they would have, who's going to be top and who's going to be the bottom of the ticket. That's something they'd have to work out. But you've got two guys who don't want to walk away from the stage. They're both very popular. And to me, it looks like Bobby Kennedy would be at the bottom of the ticket because we have this official story of Ramaswamy actually talking to the Libertarian leaders in Iowa about getting it, about doing it. And Bobby Kennedy is a Democrat. So, but he has a lot of Libertarian support for some few of his positions. What would that do if we had a Ramaswamy Kennedy Libertarian Party ticket? What would that do? What would that do? Would it? Do you think it would have an impact in some states? And who would that hurt? Ramaswamy and Kennedy, Libertarian Party ticket. Who would be hurt most by that? Trump or Joe Biden? I would say it would hurt us more. So what's going on here? You know, I've been trying to wake people up about Ramaswamy for a long, long time. But the few Democrats that would go Kennedy over Biden, I think would totally change their tune if he were a Libertarian. I think it would be a pretty big drag on the Republican vote, depending on where you're at in different communities. It's not good. And this is something that I'm telling you is in the works. And the people that are working on this are not good guys. You know, the people that are working on this are really bad dudes. And I think that it is entirely possible that it could happen. And there's something about to break this week. Let me see if I can find this for you. This, okay. This is from Laura Loomer, and there's a lot of things, this next thing I'm going to get into. But I think a Ramaswamy Bobby Kennedy ticket together with the Libertarian is a real possibility. You know, the Libertarians are a third party, but they do have an organization, and they actually have a real nominating convention. It hasn't gotten any publicity in a long time. I think maybe Pat Buchanan. Was Pat Buchanan their nominee one year, many years ago? It got a lot of attention then. But they have an official nominating convention. You got two egos that love the stage, like Kennedy and Ramaswamy. They very well could go for it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Bert. I'm listening to what you're saying. Now you got me. You got me.
Scary.
That's it. It's scary. Now you got me, because that would be a very thoughtful process. But there's one thing I need to tell you. Last night while scrolling Instagram, he came on, Ramaswamy, and says, I just want everyone to know that there's a rumor out there about me being a Libertarian. It's not true. I'm going to win the ticket and the Republican, da, 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 da. And I'm like, I didn't hear anything. And then I'm listening to you, what you're saying. So this is really scary now, because this is not only going to mess up Trump, everything. It's going to mess up our views, you know?
Yeah. No, it will. And you know, a lot of over the years, I've been frustrated with Libertarians, because Libertarians will not vote for the right Republican over a principle that, and they would rather lose than not stand up for this one principle, like there shouldn't be traffic lights or something, because that's government interference. And I'm telling you, Ramaswamy and Kennedy, that's not good. That is not good. Some people might get mad at me for talking about it, but
that's going to shake up. That's
Oh, yeah.
going to shake up the election. Absolutely. I totally agree. That will shake up the election. But I'm telling you, you also mentioned they're running out of time, right?
Yeah.
You were saying the Democrats. Well, Brian, they're running out of cards, and that's scary too.
Well,
Because there's a lot of
this thing that I'm talking about right now with
Right.
Ramesh, you put these things together. I saw that story last night with Ramaswamy with the Libertarians, and
Right.
then I saw this morning this thing with Bobby Kennedy on this interview. That interview, by the way, I put it. If you follow me on Twitter, you get all my show prep, everything I talk about, and all
Okay.
the stories I don't get to. But this interview with Robert Kennedy is on my Twitter, Brian Craig Show on Twitter, and you put him saying that he wants to bring both Biden and Trump down. Obviously there would be a conflict on who would be on top in that ticket, okay? Because they both got
Right.
egos, but they both love the stage, the attention, the limelight, the prestige, and I think they'd work it out.
Oh boy, but that'll shake up the election for the American people. You know what?
It'll screw up. It'll screw us up.
I have trust in God, and if this is meant to be to show his real colors, Ramaswamy, then go for it.
Yeah, but
We've already seen
problem,
some-
what I worry about is all of our libertarians out there that would vote for that ticket because they're libertarians, and Donald Trump doesn't. Donald Trump is a moderate Republican on a lot of social issues. He's moderate, okay.
And you know what, Brian?
And a lot of
You're
libertarians don't like that.
Right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, because believe it or not, even though you dislike Ramaswamy bought a lot of those libertarians towards the right side.
Yep.
And you're absolutely right. It is a scary concept. It will shake up the election.
It'll
and it's
mess
gonna
it up.
screw
It'll screw it up.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Robert Kennedy has some libertarian support because his position on Fauci and stuff like that. A lot of libertarians over the Fauci and COVID and all that, like Bobby Kennedy. There's no good can come out of that ticket.
Absolutely. You got me on that one. Okay. Have a great
Appreciate
morning,
the call.
Brian.
Yeah, appreciate the call. Yeah, you're all welcome to call in. The number's toll free, no matter where you're watching. 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Now, I want to tell you guys about a Christmas store here that you can get. Yeah, can you believe this? Only 16 days until Christmas. Yeah, can you imagine? But anything you're looking to buy for Christmas, I pinned the link to at the top of the chat to this store. It's SarenStore.com, SERAN, SarenStore.com, and they have all these great, anything you need to decorate for Christmas. Christmas clothes, Christmas products, Christmas sweaters, Christmas things for the dogs, Christmas stockings, Christmas decorations, everything you're looking for, they've got it. And they have huge deals, 50% off a lot of their products right now. SarenStore.com, SERAN.com. Again, there's a link pinned right there in the chat. And these are cute. Aren't they cute? Oh, yes. Merry Christmas. Absolutely. I can't believe it's almost Christmas. And I don't know where you guys are, but being in Florida, I'm in short sleeves. And when this is over, when the show's over today, this morning, I'm gonna get on the MAGA scooter and go for a ride on the Vespa MAGA scooter. But great deals, and still time to order for Christmas. I love these snow globes; they're 50% off, and these thermoses that they have with all the great Christmas things on them. They're just beautiful. SarenStore.com, SERAN, SarenStore.com. Click the link at pinned to the top of the chat and buy something. And it's a good store and good people behind the store. Yeah. So that you put the pieces of the puzzle together. All the information's out there. But sometimes you got to take a leap and put things together and see what's going on. And if this Ramaswamy, Bobby Kennedy thing were to happen, no doubt about it, Soros would be behind it without question. Now, if you're new to my channel also, guys, make sure you subscribe, and you will most definitely love my content. This is where MAGA comes to talk, people. I saw a story today that just really pissed me off, so I thought I'd share it with you. The left have done such a great job of just demonizing everything about our great country, right? They've got race wars going on. They've got anti-Semitic conflicts going on. And they've always been against Christians, but now they've started calling Christians like Nazis. And I saw this story this morning, and I thought I'd talk about it. Look at this. A war for the essence and character of American Christianity. American Christianity is at an inflection point. There's a war for the essence and character of American Christianity, writes Tim Alberta, a national political reporter for The Atlantic. Now, The Atlantic's a bunch of left-wing loons. Feeling ownership of the country and that it's slipping away. What's clear to me is that inside the American evangelical movement, far too many believers have begun to view their faith through the prism of their national identity rather than viewing their national identity through the lens of their faith, Alberta told Yahoo News. He says that for decades, American evangelicals have been taught that the United States is rightfully theirs and is being taken away from them. Figures such as Liberty University's founder, Jerry Falwell Sr., Ralph Reed. I miss Ralph Reed. I know he's still around, but you don't see him too much. David Barton of Wall Builders and more. Others like Charlie Kirk of Turning Point, Jerry Falwell Jr., and evangelical talk show host Eric Murtakis have spread this message. There's a certainty among a lot of evangelical Christians that the government is coming for them. They're right. The government is. I mean, look at what happened with the pro-life Catholics. Pro-life Catholics have been raided, monitored by the feds. And, the Democrats and the deep state, they're a lot of losses have happened for them, okay? And the overturning of Roe v. Wade, the rise of Trump and the strength and endurance of the MAGA movement, and what the powers that be, which are the deep state, the uniparty, the media, all these snakes that are always against all of us. They're trying to figure out what happened. How did we lose control of everything? How is Trump and this MAGA movement so powerful? And what they've done is they've identified whites in this country as what is responsible for all their troubles. And the majority of white conservative people are Christian. And the majority of those that are Christian are evangelical. I'm Christian, I'm Catholic, but, you may not be Catholic, but you're Christian probably if you're MAGA. Most MAGA people are Christian. Not all, but most. And so they are most definitely targeting evangelical Christians. It's part of the replacement theory. And the reason that they went after the pro-life Catholics is because they want to put the fear of God in Christians who are continually protesting to outlaw all abortion, even though now there's restrictions on it like we never thought we'd have before. Okay? And it's part of the replacement theory. It's a big part of the replacement theory is the war against Christians that's going on. Now, so far as evangelicals who have like this belief that, it's our it is our country, but America is a Christian Judeo country, okay? Because Christianity is Judaism, comes from Judaism and all of that. This is a Christian country. This country was founded on Christian Judeo principles, and we are losing our country to very evil thinking people, whether it's the gender ideology, whether it's the open border crowd. There's not one of these liberal groups that is not evil that are working against this country. Can you think of any that aren't? What liberal group is opposing Trump that's not evil? I had a story yesterday I was talking about yesterday morning. I couldn't believe it was true. A 50-year-old man in Canada says he identifies, he's a teenage girl. They let him in a swim competition with 13 and 14-year-old girls and let him share the locker room with the girls. Can you believe this? There's video and photographs of it. I posted on Twitter yesterday. It's out of Canada. Rebel News out of Canada reported the story first. And we've got a lot of that going on with Leah Thomas and others in this country. So, no, these things are attacks on Christianity. They are demonizing Christianity. And they're doing it in very clever ways, in that they're not taking Christians on head first, like they used to. They're pushing for these very bizarre, twisted things and waiting for Christians to stand up against them. And then they demonize the Christians as phobes of whatever they're opposing, right? And so it's a different strategy than they used to use back in the 80s and 90s, but they are most definitely demonizing Christians hardcore, more so with greater success than they ever had before. And part of the reason is we really don't have Christian leaders anymore. We just don't. We don't have the Jerry Falwells and Pat Robertsons and such like we used to have in this country. And that's one of the reasons. And Christians, not just evangelicals, but Christians should feel that we are under attack. We are everywhere in our society, okay? Now, another story here that really is an interesting story. President Trump is really running a different kind of campaign than he has ever run before this time. He's doing a more grassroots. He's running a campaign like a first-time candidate out of nowhere, not someone who's president of the United States. And this is a very interesting story. This is in the Gateway Pundit. New report, Donald Trump is making a concerted effort to win the blue state of New Jersey in 2024. Donald Trump is trying to expand his electoral map to include the blue state of New Jersey. New Jersey Rep. Jeff Van Drew, who switched from Dem to Republican a few years ago, is going to help head up that effort. They believe that Trump has a chance to win Jersey, given that many problems the Biden administration has caused for the Garden State. I mean, that's absolutely amazing. It says here, Donald Trump is making a concerted effort to win New Jersey. He's got Van Drew helping him. He's going to head up the whole thing. This is something. And he says, I'm pleased to announce that very popular and highly respected Congressman Jeff Van Drew will be heading up my New Jersey effort for president, Trump announced on Truth Social, deeming the congressman one of the best political minds anywhere. Trump said he and Van Drew feel like Trump has a chance to win New Jersey in the next presidential election due to President Joe Biden's abysmal policy in the effort they have had in the state. So, I mean, this is interesting because Donald Trump would not waste time, money, effort, resources, anything if he didn't think there was a chance for him to actually win New Jersey. And, it has a double impact because some people may say he has no chance. I don't know. Donald Trump says he has a chance, but it has a double impact. Maybe he really does. I believe him. That'd be awesome. No matter where you are in this country, you're feeling the pain from Biden's failures. But it also makes the Democrats have to use resources they wouldn't normally have to do to stage an effort to save what they considered safe territory, New Jersey. And you look, Biden's donors have pulled out of Georgia, which is a concession of Georgia to Trump. Now they're going to have to move resources to New Jersey, the Democrats, to try to hold on to Jersey over Trump. That's a good thing. So it's a double effort. And if the Democrats have to go to any dollar they spend, any effort they spend in Georgia, in New Jersey, is effort they can't use against us anywhere else. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. If you'd like to call in, please do. You're all welcome. The number's toll free. 1-888-465-2631. Now, all this stuff going on with Biden, with Hunter. Hunter's facing some serious charges, and I don't think he's going to go to jail. Eventually, Biden will pardon him, even if it's his last 30 seconds in office. But listen. Wow, okay. The beginning of the end of a politician when there's a scandal is when the press are screaming questions at them and they're afraid to answer. That's when it becomes a game for people in the press and it becomes a regular thing. And not answering the question is better than him answering it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Chris from Kentucky. The whole thing with the Vivek Ramaswamy thing again, where you said Trump was doing good with the young vote. and that the young vote would probably go to Vivek.
Well, I don't know. Some of it would. A chunk of it would, or could.
But what's to say that they won't vote against Trump in the primary?
Well, I don't think Ramaswamy is going to be around for most of these primaries on the ballot. He'll fizzle out before then.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, but Trump's not going to lose a primary to Ramaswamy. The anti-Trump vote on the primary is split among these losers, and he's so far ahead of all of them combined, it's not a problem.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, Brian.
All right, I appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate it. Now, Kevin McCarthy, I was talking on the last podcast episode that Kevin McCarthy leaving Congress at the end of the month gives us just a 2-seat majority. And I was talking to my wife about this on the podcast, and I said he's up to something. And I think he is looking to hand over the Congress to the Democrats. And I want to share a couple things with you in just a moment that'll back that theory up, that Kevin McCarthy is trying to hand the House back to the Democrats. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Carl in Columbus.
Hey, Carl, what's up?
Hey, you were talking about the war on Christianity a little bit ago. Just, it's also a war on gays, because all this trans movement is just it's a denial of their homosexuality. I've heard you talk about that before too. I mean, they're so ashamed of their homosexuality that they need to change their sex to cope.
Well, it depends on who you're talking about. Like the athletes, I think most of what's going on in sports are just cheaters. Yeah.
Well, that too. I was listening to something the other day where they said that the countries with the most sex change operations are in the Middle East, like Iran and Saudi Arabia, and the reason is because they have to, because being gay is so illegal, and so if they change their sex, then it's not illegal anymore.
I see.
Maybe. So I think that's kind of what's going on here too. They say the Democrats say they're for the blacks. They say they're for the minorities, but everything they do is, hurts them. And that's the same thing that they're doing with the gay community. They say they're for the gay community, but they're promoting all this.
Well, part of it is,
transgender stuff.
You're right. Okay. The gay activist organizations have accomplished everything they fought for with gays. Gays have everything and more than they ever dreamed of having or advocated for, including marriage, right? But these gay activist organizations are like the black activist organizations or the labor unions. These organizations achieve all their goals that they've ever fought for, but they don't want to fold because a lot of people make a lot of money heading up these organizations. So gay activism, the gays have achieved everything. So gay activism groups where you got a lot of 6- and 7-figure a year earners, what do? They become trans activist organizations now to keep the organizations going. Right. So that's part of the problem too. So you're right. Yeah, you're right on the money.
Well, anyway, I just wanted to, just let you know, just give you my opinion, and I appreciate the.
No, it's appreciated.
I love your show. I mean, I'm glad you have it on. It's nice to have an option to. All right.
It's either me or Fox and Friends on Saturday morning, right?
Oh, no thanks. I can't stand that.
All right, take care. Appreciate the call. Carl in Columbus. Oh, I haven't shown this to you guys yet. I got my autographed copy of Marjorie Taylor Greene's book, MTG. And look at this. It's autographed right there on the inside. She's got a great signature, Marjorie Taylor Greene, doesn't she? Isn't that great? Yeah. It's pretty cool, huh? Absolutely. Yeah. Just came in the mail a few days ago. I've been meaning to show it to everybody, but there it is. And, of course, I'll put this in a very treasured location next to the autographed Trump book. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I'm going to read this one. I'm looking forward to reading it. Now, okay, so I was talking just to recap, then I'm going to show you two things here. I know a lot of disturbing stuff going on these days. DVC said Megyn Kelly's not aging well. Yeah, I'd like to see how good she looks without all the glam squad that she's got going on before she goes on television, huh? I'd like to see what she really looks like. Like what color is her hair really? So I was talking about Kevin McCarthy on the last podcast. Leaving at the end of the month gives us a 2-seat majority, right? I got two things here. Let me see here. Which one? Let me play first this thing with Kevin McCarthy, which you may or may not have seen. This is Kevin McCarthy. Listen to this.
And when I look at the Democrats, they actually look like America. When I look at my party, we look like the most restrictive country club in America.
Really? Do you guys feel like you're in a country club? Isn't that interesting? So he is really sucking up to the Democrats. So now he's leaving us with a 2-seat majority in the House of Representatives. Very slim majority, very scary majority. And, of course, a week ago, it was Kevin McCarthy who got Santos tossed out of Congress. If you remember, Speaker MAGA Mike Johnson had openly said he was going to vote to keep Santos in Congress. And then within an hour, he was out. And what was reported by Steve Bannon is that Kevin McCarthy, who still has a lot of juice there, got his sycophants to vote to expel George Santos. That gave us a 3-seat majority. Then Kevin McCarthy announced he's leaving Congress at the end of the month. That'll give us a 2-seat majority. Well, look at this from Laura Loomer. Hearing, and she's got great sources, hearing that a really big expose on Matt Gaetz is coming out in the next 2 weeks. It was described to me as being worse than what they have on Santos. Source tells me people are really unhappy with the shrinking GOP majority in Congress, and many are now directly blaming Gaetz. So that's all we've got on this expose, but Laura Loomer is very credible with very, very good sources. If what they have on Matt Gaetz, who I love Matt Gaetz, and I know you guys, do you guys love Matt Gaetz? Who doesn't love Matt Gaetz? I'll tell you who doesn't love Matt Gaetz. The Uniparty, the Never Trumpers, they don't like Matt Gaetz. I love him. But if what Laura Loomer is reporting here is true, and she's always right, that the expose coming out on Matt Gaetz is worse than what they have on Santos, they would expel him. Right? So that'll give us a 1-seat majority. A 1-seat majority. Who's behind this expose? Kevin McCarthy. That's who. You know, Kevin McCarthy is big on revenge. So Kevin McCarthy, in my opinion, and I see no reason why this cannot be possible, he is on his way to handing over control of the United States House of Representatives to the Democrats. We could find something very historic. I don't know if this has happened before. If it's happened before my time. Has there been a time between elections where a party has lost control of the House? You know, if they toss out Gaetz and we lose somebody else, they'll have another vote. And what would happen? I want to ask you guys this question. It was very difficult for us to get a speaker. So Matt Gaetz goes, we have a 1-seat majority. If they called for another vote for speaker, do you think we could win it with a 1-seat majority? Do you think with a 1-seat majority, if they had a new vote for speaker with a 1-seat majority, do you think it's possible that the Democrats could pick the speaker and not the Republicans, even though we'd have a 1-seat majority? I'd say it's possible. And it's also possible, if they're taking people out through scandal like this, that they might find somebody else to get rid of. And then we lose the majority. You know, this is the swamp. This is the Uniparty. These are the Never Trumpers. And you've seen how frightened they've been at the idea that President Trump comes in for a second term and has Speaker Johnson as the speaker, because so much would get done. Scary stuff. Now, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, guys. You'll love my content. Now, it's Christmas shopping season. If you've not done it already, order your Mighty MAGA Lion. If you order your Mighty MAGA Lion this morning, it will be shipped today. I sent out a huge shipment yesterday. My wife and I, we spent all afternoon packing, boxing up Mighty MAGA Lions, and they are on their way. And you'll love yours. If you order more than one, you get a discount. You can order yours at MightyMagaLion.com. MightyMagaLion.com. There's a link in the description of the video. And if you're watching live, I pinned the link to the top of the chat. MightyMagaLion.com. And this is available exclusively through me at MightyMagaLion.com. My wife and I, and Dee from the chat, we designed and manufactured the Mighty MAGA Lion. They are limited in supply. Once they are gone, they are gone. Okay, so go to MightyMagaLion.com, order yours. Great Christmas gift. And remember, if you order more than one, you get a discount. Just go to MightyMagaLion.com. Cute and cuddly, just like Trump. And this is the only Trump-inspired merchandise wearing the MAGA hat. All right? Hey, guys, thanks for watching. My name's Brian Craig. Again, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. And everyone who's already subbed, like the video. Guys, that helps a lot when you like the videos. I'll see you next time.